make it medicine for someone else, someone else. Share the joys you wish you know. Hold on to the tears that you share. Bottle them with care as though for yourself. Oh, make it medicine for someone else, someone else. You gotta go on, and it's hard, I know. Sometimes the way you see it grow, it's for you not to take it personal, 'cause it's not about yourself. Yes, it's hard to face when you suffer for someone else. Share the battles, good and bad. The hardest trials you've ever had. Take all the trophies, take them off the shelf. Oh, make it medicine for someone else, someone else. You gotta go on, and it's hard, I know. Sometimes the way you see love grow is for you not to take it personal, 'cause it's not about yourself. Yes, it's hard when you suffer for someone else. Take all the trials you've been through, the hardest things you had to go through. Take all the trophies, take them off the shelf, yeah, yeah. Oh, make it medicine for someone else, someone else. Someone else, someone else.
Gloria, my Gloria, Gloria. Things ain't been the same since you've been away. No, Gloria, my Gloria. I don't wanna see another day. Seems like only yesterday I beheld your sweet find the nerve to say I'm gonna make a change in my life, starting here today. Oh, I surrender all my love. I never thought I could. No, giving all my love away. There's only one reason that I would. Baby, it's the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you say my name, your smile, the way you move me, the way you soothe me, the way you sleep softly through the night. Every morning you rise and open your eyes. I just wanna be there with you, babe. I just wanna be yours from this day forward. The way you talk, the way you say my name, your smile, the way you move me, the way you soothe me, the way you sleep softly through the night. Every morning you rise and open your eyes. I just wanna be there with you, babe. I just wanna be yours from this day forward.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your college basketball betting this season. Get analysis of every play, prop, and point at BetOnline. Hey, it's your man Lloyd Spence, and listen, you'll find the latest odds, bracket contests, team matchups, and game trends all at BetOnline. Updated odds for everything from live games to conference championships, right through the Final Four, which is going down this weekend, and the championship game. Listen, BetOnline is your college basketball headquarters this season. So head to the website today or use your mobile device to sign up and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Be sure to use our promo code BELIEVE, B-L-E-A-V, to receive your bonus. BetOnline.ag is where the game starts, and you can tell them the Noisemaker sent you.
Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Yeah.
Can I make you move now? Yes, I can. So you can get this move in a bag of a can. I can make it round the world when it holds in your hand. Popcorn World. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. I said popcorn make you smile. Ah. 250 flavors. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. It's a popcorn world. The popcorn world.
What's that saying? Breaking down the rumor and smelling out. Speaking for the people who will slow around. To control the power, the whisper and the shout. We're talking noise. Oh yeah, talking noise. Yeah, yeah. Say it again, say it. We're talking noise. Yeah, talking noise. Really don't have time to fool around. Mama noise keeps us lined up. When truth divine, the sign that you need is a sign of success. We're talking noise. Oh yeah, talking noise. Yeah, picking up all the sand. We're talking noise. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Talking noise. Say it again. We're talking noise.
Welcome to Talkin NOIZ, the daily podcast that brings you up to speed and keeps you informed about real issues affecting real people. With your host, Mr. Talkin NOIZ himself, Lloyd Spence. His beautiful wife, Mrs. NOIZ, Kenyatta Spence. The ever-informed Brother NOIZ, Alan Brown. And yours cordially, Uncle NOIZ, Shake Anderson. Come on in and join us as we reveal and opine today's most pressing issues. Real truth while having real fun. Talkin NOIZ is in your house right now. So sit back and enjoy Talkin NOIZ.
It has been an unbelievable, and that's putting it mildly, 24 hours. And for me, or for me and Mama Noise personally, it kind of hit us, and Albie and Ron, it kind of hit us personally, and because it's our hometown, and stuff like that doesn't always happen in my hometown. And as I was getting ready for the show tonight, I walked past one of my many T-shirts that I own, and I saw this one. Let me solo out here. I saw the one that says, "Just waking up in the morning, gotta thank God." That's the famous Ice Cube opening line of "Today is a good day." And I've heard that song, I don't know, a few hundred times. Just waking up in the morning, gotta thank God. But today I heard the line differently. I heard just waking up in the morning. Man, you gotta thank God. Because it ain't promised. As it was not promised to the 5 people who died yesterday and those who are still in the hospital. I think there's a couple in critical condition. It's not promised that you're going to wake up every single day. It was never really promised. But never is there been a time, and I think in our country, where it feels like we're just really, really lost. And so today's show is very simple. We're going to ask some very tough and uncomfortable questions tonight about where are we going? Because I don't know. I can honestly say I don't know. I know where I'd like us to go, but I don't know where we're going. I really don't. It's very confusing because there's a lot going on in our society. There's a lot going on in our world. There's a lot going on around us in our, it seems like all of the so-called progress that we thought we had made was all just smoke and mirrors for the reality that we probably hadn't made any progress at all societally. And man, we're finding out that we are far worse off than we ever thought that we were. And it's really stunning, to say the least. It's really, really stunning, to say the least. So we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot we want to cover. I think the crew is coming at some point tonight. They're all kind of trickling in, slowly but surely. But we just wanted to jump on tonight and have some dialogue with you, noise makers. We appreciate you guys so much, and shout out to the rewatch gang who come along and we go back and watch it later. Please put your comments in the chat if you're watching on the rewatch. Tonight we need white organist for sure.
Oh, wow.
White organist to kind of do his thing real quick, because I need him to give us a little something, man. Yeah, man. Y'all, we need the Lord.
For real.
So this is going to be a heavy conversation, and some things we ain't going to agree about, and that's okay too. But at the same time, we're going to have a good discussion. And we're just going to pray that some growth and some understanding comes out of all of it. So that's what you want in these conversations. So grab your church man, grab your Bibles, like we always say, grab your five and envelope, whatever you need to feel comfortable. And let's talk some more. Amen. Thank you, Ray. I sure appreciate it, Ray. I really do. Shout out to you. Mama Noise, how are you doing tonight? You look phenomenal, by the way.
Thank you.
Oh, Mama Noise. You got a ring in your microphone. I think it's up too loud.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah, turn that thing down. I can hear your thoughts. It's up so loud. Try it now. Let's see.
This is where it needs to go down at. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you might have to speak up a little bit, but yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, turn it down. Try it
Now?
now. Perfect. Perfect.
I had to turn down the microphone on the computer.
Oh, well, there it is then. Okay. Well, tell us how you doing and how you feeling.
I'm well.
There you go. Anytime you will, I know we're gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. It's been a beautiful. First of all, shout out to the weather. The weather has been outstanding, which is nice because it ain't always outstanding, right? But it's been outstanding. So we're gonna take that good weather and run with it. But we're grateful for that. So I don't know, Mama Noise. We got a lot to talk about. Should we just dive right in?
Why not? What's the reason for the delay?
All right, let's just dive right in. Well, listen, y'all, to say that it has been a wild couple of days would be an understatement. It's been a wild couple of weeks, to say the least. But let me just bring you up to speed. About 8:30 yesterday morning, in Louisville, Kentucky, which is our hometown, me and Mama Noise, there was a active shooter in the old National Bank downtown Louisville, and it's called the Old National Bank, by the way. And the young man's name was Connor Sturgeon. He is an employee, or was an employee of said bank. And about 8:30, he walked in up and through the bank and started shooting folk. He shot 5 people and they died, and he shot and 8 were wounded, including one of the officers, or 2 of the officers, I think, were one of the officers is critically wounded, and I think he's still fighting for his life.
That was a rookie, yeah.
I don't know if he's a rookie or not. Was
he was a rookie. He had just started like 2 weeks ago.
Nicholas Wilt? Wow. Well, he is fighting for his life as we speak. And then the other officers, they said, suffered minor injuries. It was without a question one of the most horrific scenes that Louisville has seen in quite some time. Apparently, this young man was disgruntled, very, I guess, frustrated about his circumstances, to the point where he had gone to social media and kind of tried to almost notify folk that he was going to do this. Like, he was kind of letting folk know that he was going to do this.
So he was an employee there.
Yeah, he worked there.
Okay.
Yeah, he worked there. He had worked there, and I was going to bring up his social media account here as Cuz walks through the door. Hello, Cuz. How you doing, sir?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Lady, just one lady. I'm sorry. Lady and
only one lady. Yeah, there you go. This was his social media account where he put up, which by the way has been taken down since.
Wait.
Yeah.
He was a white guy?
Yeah, you didn't know he was white? Yeah, he's a white guy. He put up a social media account. He said, I could burn this whole place down. This was 2 hours prior to the shooting. And then he put this up saying, I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it. And then he put this up. He said, they won't listen to words of protest. Let's see if they'll hear this. And then that was the end of that.
Wait, Mr. Noise, nah. Shit, you're moving too fast. Slow down.
Am I moving too fast? I apologize. Let me pull it back up. There you go.
White man
Yeah.
killed white people?
Well, predominantly white. He did manage to get one black person in there.
This young man here is a red-blooded American, white, right?
Yes, who, by the way, clearly had planned this because he bought. The reports are coming out now that he bought the rifle just days before this happened. Like it wasn't something.
Okay, hold on. He must have been mentally ill.
That is not well. Don't you have to be mentally ill to decide that you go to your job and kill somebody?
No, I'm talking about he must have been on somebody's radar as being socially deformed, if you will.
Well,
he had issues, right? Right? He wasn't normal. He wasn't no normal.
Well,
oh my gosh!
Come on, Mr. Noah, tell us what was wrong with him.
Well, listen. Apparently, a lot of things, but no one caught those things. I mean, let me welcome Al B into the building. Al B is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Al, you right there in the city. Yeah, you right there in the city. I'd like to get you to kind of give us the temperature. Like you're in the aftermath now. What is the feel? And by the way, just to so that we have a clarity of story and clarity of circumstances. Correct me if I'm wrong, and I don't mind that, Al, because I need it. Just an hour or 2 hours from the initial shooting, there was another shooting at the local community college where a young man or somebody, I don't remember who the components were, but somebody shot somebody, killed somebody there as well. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct. Yesterday was, unfortunately, it was not different because we see it far too often. But yesterday was somewhat different in the aspect that so much took place in within a matter of 3 to 4 hours, unrelated things. So
Right.
the temperature is extremely warm. Yesterday was extremely chaotic. Having family working at the University of Louisville, just 3 blocks from the initial shooting, and then of course the second incident took place just 3 blocks from where McKenna attends high school. She's a student at Central High School, and the JCTC campus is right at 8th and Chestnut. Well, one of their campuses is right at 8th and Chestnut, which is where the altercation, the second incident took place. And then just an hour or so after that, there was heavy police presence at 6th and Broadway. That has been since kind of brushed aside. They thought they had encountered the assailant from the second shooting, but it turned out not to be the case. So it was extremely chaotic yesterday. Phones going haywire. I'm, at work. And so, we unfortunately, I should say, I apologize. One of the very first mass workplace shootings occurred in the city of Louisville.
That is correct.
Joseph Westbeck and the Courier Journal or Standard Revere at the time.
Right.
So, it's just a sad day. This is happening far too often. So,
well, to piggyback on Cuz Noise's tongue-in-cheek comments, because I just saw what shout out to S Dot. I saw what he put in the chat where he said that now they're trying to blame it on his concussions that he got during high school or whatever. This is the worst part about to me all of this is its normality. This is not. I remember it's interesting that you brought up Stanley Gravier, Al, because I remember Stanley Gravier. I was living in Louisville at the time of Stanley Gravier. I think Mama Noise was as well. And I remember how unbelievable it seemed. Like, wow, he went in and shot up the whole building. Like, wow, this is unbelievable. Fast forward 30 years later, and it's not shocking at all. The shooting yesterday, the only thing shocking about it was that it happened at a bank. So now we can add banks to the list. But other than that, people aren't shocked by this. People aren't, oh my God, by this. This is America now. And to Cuz's point, why did it happen? Did it happen because he's this mentally unstable guy? Well, they say he used to hold poker games at his house, and he didn't have a girlfriend, but he had friends, and they hung out together, and so.
So what we know is that he had the mental capacity, or his concussions didn't affect him enough to keep him from getting an internship 3 years in a row at this bank. What we do know is that his mental capacity and his concussions did not enable him from obtaining a full-time position just here a few months ago from the said bank. So I don't know if we can just write this off as the effects of sustained concussions in his high school, early collegiate years. I don't know if we can do that.
And by the way, Albie, let's stress the one point that you keep bringing up that I think is important. He worked at a bank. So guess what you don't do? Hire crazy people to work at a bank. So if it's not the bank, if it's not his mental capacity, then what could have drove him? Which again, to some degree, he does have mental problems, because that's probably true, or emotional ones. And he's having some disconnect between, or he had some disconnect between the processing of his emotions and the processing of his circumstances. So, on some level, I tend to lean toward every person who has the capacity to do mass shootings is crazy in some regard. They would have to be.
Mr. Noise, I understand what you're saying when you say that. I don't have an issue with the young man being mentally ill or challenged or inability to process or whatever else you said.
Right.
I don't have a problem with that. My problem is using mental health as the answer to our gun violence problem.
Right.
Is a problem.
Right.
Because it is nearly impossible to identify just who has the issue. Issues. And what triggered this day? You know, you can probably say we're all walking around here with issues. But we know how to process it, and we know how to avoid triggers, or we can identify our triggers. What as a government, as a people, could we possibly do to stop mentally ill people from shooting others? We can't, except for gun control. Now, I'm a gun owner. I have guns in my house. But we have to come to terms with the amount of guns that are in the streets of America, the easy access to guns in the streets of America, and how in so many states, including Kentucky and others, we almost want it to be the wild, wild west where everybody's packing. Well, we just we can't identify who's crazy and who's not, but yet we're going to give everybody a gun.
Right.
The issue is the old people used to say, back where I'm from, not where you guys are from, back where I'm from, old people used to say, don't let the devil ride. You let him ride, he's going to want to drive. And it's like we've been playing with the devil with these guns for a long time.
But I want to
control.
But I want to pivot, but not really in this conversation.
Don't. I'm gonna come back to it. But
we definitely gonna come back to it. But I'm gonna pivot, but I'm not really gonna pivot because I'm gonna add something to this conversation because what you're talking about to me is rational thought. To me, it's rational to say let's put gun control in and try to come up with some strategies to bring a measure of sensibility to this problem, which clearly is the problem. But in order to bring sensibility to problems, you must have sensible people sitting at the table to work out the problem. I want to share something with you guys, and it's going to seem like I'm pivoting so dramatically that you're going to like, what does this have to do? But I promise you, like we do on Talkin NOIZ, I promise you, we're going to put it all together. So just sit tight for a second and check out what I'm about to show you.
Where there are no truths.
So to acknowledge a social concept does not mean that we ignore biology, and it doesn't mean that we don't have.
Can men get pregnant?
Depends. I know.
What does it depend on?
I know trans men that can get pregnant.
That means it's a woman. Only one sex can get
That's
pregnant.
a circular argument.
It's not a circular argument. Yeah. It's proving my point. There is a concrete truth. You have to be born with a uterus to have a baby. Only women can get pregnant. The fact that we've arrived in a society
right, that's the part I'm disagreeing with. That's the part I'm disagreeing
with. There's
nothing
to disagree with it. These are facts. So you can say that this person who is pregnant identifies as a man. That person was born a woman. I can tell you that every single time because only women can have sex because there are concrete truths about life.
Have babies.
Can have babies, pardon. And that is a hard truth about life. You cannot make that go away because you want to call a man, somebody who has a beard and dresses like a dude a woman. Only if it's pregnant, I can tell you exactly what it is. It's a woman.
Now, the problem with this conversation that I just heard is that it forces us to come to a very stiff reality. She's 100% correct. I'm sorry, she's not wrong. And by the way, I have the highest respect for Mark Lamont Hill, a brother that I really, really like. Sharp cat. But again, if we societally are going to keep kicking the can down the field and changing what we are and changing who we are and changing what is happening literally in front of our eyes, then how do we get to any rational thought? That's the purpose of that video. How do we arrive at rational thought when we are choosing to be blatantly irrational? We are choosing to suspend what we know to be true, what we know to be factual. Matter of fact, we're not even trying to call it factual. The man said that's a circular argument that men can have babies. That's a circular. What's circular about it? What is really, Mark? Come on, bruh. I understand. I get it, bro. I get cancel culture. I get it. You ain't got to do this, my man. I get it. I understand what you're going through. I know you're trying to hold on to that job and that bank account and that. I get it. But it's coming at a very high price. Literally, lives are being lost. Literally. Because we can't sit down at a table and have a discussion about anything anymore. gun control, racism, sexism. And I'm not saying that and by the way, the game is so convoluted now that we're so distracted by the minimal issues that there's maximum things happening. Here's the reality. It makes you wonder where we're going. Now, by the way, that's the first time I've ever agreed with Candace Owens on anything. And it probably will be the last. Or maybe, I don't know. But I live in a world now, Al, because Mama Noise, where a guy was indicted on actual crimes at 9 a.m. in the morning. And by 8 p.m. that night, he was celebrated and cheered. Where are we going? That's the question I'm asking. Our homie, the GOAT himself, White Noise is in the building. He says white men 60 plus will never change their view on the right to own assault rifles. The extension of that is that they've pounded it into their kids and their grandkids. And the only good thing is that some have the damn sense to go against the white privilege grain. Yes. And my answer to that, brother, is yes, you are 1,000% correct. And I'll say this. I don't know. I honestly don't know how the numbers truly play out, if I'm being honest. And cuz Mama Noise, Al, I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on this. Because I don't know if there are a lot of people that want what we have as it relates to this country, as it relates to guns and stuff like that, or if the people who want the guns are just louder than everybody else. Because it feels like the squeaky wheel is getting the oil. That's what it feels like to me. More so than we just want a violent society. It feels like there's just a louder group out there that is better organized and more courageous in their convictions. And if that's the case, then they're going to be the ones that get heard the most. So I don't know. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts. Mama Noise, jump on in there. You bring your feminine sensibilities.
The fact that we have in place, depending on what state you're in, that you can just go out and buy a gun.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what the law is in the state of Kentucky. You know, like some states have it where you have to know that there had to be some type of not psychological test, but at the same time they ask you some questions. It's pretty psychological, trying to find out what your state of mind is. And you know, and then you had to wait a few weeks after they, you know, check some things or whatever to determine if you're mature enough or sane enough, rather, to purchase a gun. It scares me that in this country that there are places that do have that waiting period and some that do not. And then I wonder about this young man in Louisville, Kentucky, and wonder if he, you know, was this an impulse thing? Because like you said, S. was saying in regard to concussions. And then you were saying that, okay, this guy is able to, you know, he has friends, he has, you know, he's had a steady job, you know, there are so many markers that say that he is a sane individual. So in this country, we have it that if somebody snaps, they have the capability to be able to go and purchase a weapon immediately without a waiting period.
Let me ask a question. I'm not trying to cut off your flow because you got a good vibe going there. But I just want to ask this question because I don't know, because I'm not a gun owner, though I am considering. But I would like to know, an AR-15, do you need a license for that?
Jay?
No.
That's what I thought. I didn't think you needed a license for an AR-15.
But it doesn't. It depend on where you live.
I don't think it does, Mama Noy.
Well, in Texas, it's like all bets is off.
I think all over the country, all bets are off with an AR-15. I think you need a license for a handgun.
See, the problem to me with the whole conversation is we keep trying to narrow it down to states and municipalities. This is as dumb as back in the day. You remember Mr. Noise, Mama Noise. You might remember too. Remember, there was a time in certain towns and cities where on Sundays you couldn't buy liquor.
Right.
Hmm.
There were certain towns and cities that were dry.
That's right.
There was no liquor store in the town or the city.
Mm.
Now, only a fool would believe that because I live in said town or city, I don't get alcohol. Because all I got to do is drive over to the next town and then bring the alcohol back to my house.
Right.
What? But wait a minute. Now, don't you have to have identification that you are from a specific area so they know you are from Mississippi if you try to go to Texas to go buy a bunch of guns?
Mama Noise, you can buy guns on the internet. You can buy guns.
Yeah, you don't have to walk
anywhere
and do that. Yeah.
You don't have to prove that if I come to Texas, I can't buy a gun because I have a Georgia ID. Oh no.
You don't?
No, man. No.
Wouldn't it? Because it seemed like you trying to buy something in another state, trying to bring it back over state lines.
They don't give a damn. Just like they really didn't care if you buy that liquor. They was just trying to prove themselves to be Christians.
And I just looked it up. There is currently no federal law restricting the sale, manufacture, or possession of an assault weapon.
Where? Anywhere in the U.S.?
Anywhere in the U.S. Does not matter.
Well.
Now, you can't buy a 9mm.
Oh. Why? Because that's the one that the police carry?
Here's the thing, Mama Knows. Here's and I hopefully this will help.
Okay.
The whole purpose of gun licensing and concealed carry permits is so that they cannot be surprised by a weapon that you have in your possession.
Right.
So a long gun or a long rifle is visible. So most states like Kentucky, you can open carry. You don't have to have a permit or a concealed carry license. You can carry openly. I see people all the time walking around, going in and out of convenience stores with AR rifles and draped across their chest. Simply because they can do it. I think what politicians have done, they have convinced the American people that gun control is going to rip away their amendment. What is it? First Amendment?
Second Amendment.
Second Amendment right to carry. Which is why they are so inclined not to have discussions. They'd rather sit up in the hallowed halls and chambers in Washington, D.C. talking about banning books that discuss slavery and discuss the Holocaust.
Right.
Because talking about gun control is going to reduce their contributions from the NRA. and it's going to reduce their support from those who feel that their amendments, God-given rights, are being threatened.
This is really unbelievable that this guy is walking down the street.
What do you mean it's unbelievable?
When I say unbelievable, I'm saying societally that's where we are now. That this is okay. We're okay with this.
But goddamn, didn't Al B just said that people walk in and out of a gun shop with guns and carrying their gun?
But
This
I'm
is
saying
wrong.
we how did we get to this place? How did we get to the place where we're truly just okay? It's no big deal. Listen, I'm going to buy eggs, butter, and some waffle mix, and I got my gun and I need my gun when I go.
The truth of the matter is the American people are not okay with it. American people are not okay with it.
Okay.
The vast majority of the American people are not okay with our love affair with guns. It's not even an amendment issue anymore. It's a love affair. Because you can own 1 or 2 guns to protect your home. Okay, you want to go shoot some targets out in the country like I used to when we was kids? Yeah. You can go and do that. That's fun. Used to love to shoot rattlesnakes. I love to do that. Oh my God, because they're hard to kill. You just keep shooting them. I get it. Been there, done that. But we have now what's a love affair, because now people don't own 1 or 2 guns. They own 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guns. And they hold up their guns and say to their friend, look at how beautiful she is.
Got me a new toy today.
Oh my God, she's a beaut, man. Look at her. What the hell is going on?
But cuz, how do you have a rational conversation with a group of people with that mentality? Like, that's the part I don't understand. Like, I'm supposed to sit down and we supposed to have a discussion about how dangerous this is, and your ass is talking about that you in love with it. I'm in love with an AR.
We played around with the fire too long. We ignored the smoke too long. Now we got a full-on blaze. And we're just about at the point to where we got to just back up and let that motherfucker burn.
Wasn't it a mass shooting?
Oh, it was a song.
Yeah, I heard it. Go ahead, Mama Doyle.
Wasn't it a mass shooting?
What, today? Yeah.
No, a couple of years ago, where it was a young man who had, I think, a high school student, and his parents are the ones who bought the gun for him, and they were trying to not only lock up the guy, the boy who did it, but his parents, because they're the ones who bought it.
Yes, but where are you going with that, baby?
It's in relation to what Jay said, where the love affair is. You bought an assault weapon for your child as a gift.
Was he a child? I don't. That's the part I don't remember.
He wasn't no adult.
Yeah,
and that's why they was trying to come for the parents.
Right, you're right.
And they was like, what? Just because we gave him a gun doesn't mean that we told him to go to the school. I think it was.
But Mama, it is a rite of passage. It is. It has become a rite of passage in many.
I'm sick of that being an answer, because the first thing they want to say is, I gave it to Billy because he hunts. None of y'all Negroes go to avoid the grocery store and go out and shoot up a bunch of stuff and hanging outside and do all the stuff back in the days before there was a grocery store for you to go out and get your stuff. Not to the point where you need multiple mags and all that stuff to shoot up some stuff. What kind of hunting are you doing?
I was a Boy Scout, Cub Scout, Boy Scout, and hunting was thought to be an activity of quote unquote fun, but also one that you developed a skill for shooting. And so the whole premise behind it was to understand the connection of the aiming and the pointing, finding the target, and being able to fire something at the target with a level of accuracy, creating an accuracy or an ability to become accurate with your gun skills or whatever. If I need an AR-15, I need to get in another game.
Mr. Noise, you obviously can't shoot because what you just described was horrible, but that's okay.
But no, it wasn't horrible. You understand what I'm trying to say. What I'm simply saying is, nigga, is that an AR-15, that's not you out there trying to practice the skill of hunting. That's just you with a fetish.
Let me say this.
America has a fetish with guns.
Let me be fully transparent, butt ass naked.
Okay.
Nope.
Man, no, Mama knows I got to let it all hang out.
No,
Let it hang out, bro.
Absolutely not.
Let it hang. Oh.
Listen. Let me be honest now. Man, I love to shoot guns. I am a damn good shooter. And I enjoy it. Over the years, I've shot every gun, weapon the United States military has. I love it. Look forward to going to shoot. Would shoot all my targets down 40 for 40. Target up, target down. I'm that good. Absolutely.
All right, now preach on, brother.
They would put me on the range and help another mother that couldn't qualify because I was just that good. Hey, Jordan, shoot his targets. He ain't gonna never get off this range. I enjoy shooting. It is a fun sport. But put that aside. People are dying. And whatever you enjoy doing, you can't put that above people are dying. Which is why I get so pissed. Not pissed, but ticked. Not picked, but ticked. I get pissed off.
Let's go with piss. You're struggling. Let's go with piss.
Shit hell. With us talking about this mass shooting. Listen, mass shooting is a relatively new phenomenon, and it's really impacting the white community more than the black community. But here in Dallas, Texas, over Easter week,
mm-hmm.
17 people were killed by guns.
Separately?
17.
I said separately, though.
Separately.
Yeah.
Over Easter weekend, 5 were killed right here in the city of Dallas by guns. Now, the problem is local officials, government officials, everybody tries to say, well, we got to fix the problem in Dallas. It ain't a Dallas problem. This is a national issue. And if you wanted to uncover the truth, if you looked at Phoenix, if you looked at Detroit, if you looked at LA, if you looked at Brooklyn, if you looked at Miami, if you looked at whatever city you want to, you're going to find the same issues.
Right.
People are dying every day.
Yeah.
By guns. But they're only talking about the mass shootings. So if the mass shootings go down, are them mother okay with the gun violence that's still taking place every day in America? No more shoot 'em up. No more shoot 'em up to where you kill 5 people at one time. If we get rid of all of that, are we okay with the gun violence that's still taking place in America? Don't let
I'll answer that question by saying this. It appears that we're pretty much okay with levels of acceptable death in our country. Like we'll fix a problem to a certain extent, but there's profit in pain. So we don't want to just completely fix it. We just want to kind of like
listen,
curve it a little bit.
When the white man gets on television and cries because his longtime friend was killed in the bank,
right?
Change is getting ready to come.
Is it?
No, but not the kind of change.
No, listen, because he made the statement.
He did.
He never thought it would happen to him.
None of his friends.
And his friends.
Yeah,
it's supposed to happen over there.
Yeah, but this is the kind of change. That's what I'm saying though. Change is coming, but not the kind of change that completely fixes the problem. Like, we just don't like gun violence interrupting us at La Madeleine's. We don't mind. I mean, if it interrupts us at Indy's Chicken, that's okay.
I'm so bad at
KFC, that's fine. But you can't be interrupting my weekend appointment at the Brown Hotel. That's a little too far. I don't want you running up in the Brown while I'm ordering a Kentucky Hot Brown and you in there shooting and shit. You got to knock that off. I'm just going by what you just said. That I think we want change, but as a country, we want acceptable, minimal change that gets our grand life, our meaning those of privilege, our lives back.
You mean white people?
Well, you know,
we can never solve the problem unless we tell the whole truth.
But I'm saying, okay, well, here's the whole truth. I don't know how to get irrational people to sit down at a table and make rational decisions. I don't know how to do that.
I know how you can.
Okay, talk to me, because I haven't seen
it. Let it keep affecting their households.
But it's been affecting their households.
They will change their tune.
I disagree.
Mr. Noiz, it takes time. It takes time. Don't misunderstand me.
Damn,
the more fearful they become, the more it keeps happening to their kids.
Hold on.
In their churches. Mr. Noiz, don't give me the pass. I'm talking about it has to continue. This mass shooting is a relatively new phenomenon. It hadn't been happening always.
It's been happening enough.
But this ain't that normal. We can really only point to maybe 5 big ones that really shook the nation. Columbine.
I disagree with that.
Huh?
I disagree with that.
No, really only about 5 big ones.
What is the 5 big ones?
We've had more. But Columbine. The Parkland.
I disagree with that. I think Columbine was one that shook the nation for sure, but I think everything that's happened since then is not. This ain't shook the nation.
No, not quite. Not quite.
No. What I'm saying is, I don't know if any of them shake the nation after Columbine, because what we've done is we've normalized it. Bro, they're shooting at gas stations, they're shooting in movie theaters, they're shooting in churches, and none of it. And only thing that has happened in all of those shootings is just a normalization of the situation. Go ahead, Albie.
There has been a few. Sandy Hook shook the nation. The Marjorie down in Florida, it as well shook the nation. So there's been a few.
The Marjorie.
Whatever it.
What was that?
Marjorie. He's about Parkland.
Yeah, Parkland.
Okay.
Yeah, Parkland. Yeah.
So there's been.
When y'all say shook the nation, what do you mean? Like
I mean it caused the world to pause, if only for a moment. Very similar to Columbine. We had the massive march on Washington, where the hundreds of thousands of kids marched on Washington to try to encourage the politicians to consider better gun control. So,
Mm.
the world paused, if only for a moment. The world paused.
Well, let me say this. I agree that the world took notice. But where I will disagree is that every time momentum has tried to be built up in the world of gun reform, politicians and the NRA have just said, well, we'll weather the storm. Or this too shall pass.
Here, look at this.
Yeah.
We had the Tennessee 3.
Yeah.
Jones, Johnson, and I believe Pearson was the other fellow's name.
Mm-hmm.
2 of the 3 were African Americans.
Right. Black men. Right.
Miss Johnson, of European descent, they didn't muster up enough votes to get her out of office. But these gentlemen were removed from office. They weren't censored. They weren't just taken off of committee assignments. Right. They were removed from
That's
office.
Right.
For protesting with their constituents. Keep in mind, they just had the mass shooting in Nashville.
Right. Just had. Fresh off of it.
Yeah, fresh off of it.
Right.
At a school where 3 adults were murdered. They were removed simply for protesting in an effort to get stricter gun laws. That's where we are in this society.
Yes.
Now, we don't care about the millions of dollars that's going to be wasted because now they have to have a special election for Mr. Jones to reclaim his seat, although he has been appointed as interim or temporary or whatever they want to call it, until a special election can be held. America does not care about collateral damage.
That's my point.
America has lost its compassion for people.
Yeah.
I don't know if they ever had it truly.
But
they only have when it's in certain areas.
Al, you know what? I want to stay there for a second because that's a powerful thing you just said. I don't know if we've ever had it. It feels like what has happened is that we've been living in our own created darkness for so long. You ever go to a movie theater that's packed and you know it's packed, but you don't really understand how packed it is until the end of the theater, and then they turn the lights on and you see, man, there's a lot of people in here. And then you say, you think you're in a nice, clean theater where everything is nice and pristine, whatever. And then as people start to leave, you realize this place is nasty. It's filthy. It's drink on the floor and popcorn everywhere. It's like America has deliberately kept us in the dark. And then somebody like a Donald Trump comes along, which really you can make a case for when Barack Obama came along, President Barack Obama came along, the lights kind of came on then too, because we found out at the church house that all these Christian folk that we thought were so in love with Jesus, they were in love with Jesus. They just hated black people. And then it got worse when the next guy came along and you found out, oh, not only do you hate black people, but you're just a full-on racist. So I don't know how you. So to your point, Al, I think you're right. The levels of compassion that we lack in this country are higher than I think any of us ever thought that they were. Like, I don't think we realized just how bad it is. So, cuz, how do you get rational people to sit down and have, or deliberately irrational people to sit down and have a rational conversation?
Wow.
And by the way, that's on both sides of the aisle.
Here's how I believe it has to happen. January 2022. It's 31 days in January, right? January 2022. 26 people were shot and killed in Louisville, Kentucky. 26 people. Of those 26 people, 6 were white, 20 were black. Month of January 2022. Until that white number ticks up, see, the reality is, Mr. Noise, black people are sick of it. If you ask us as a people, and there's a criminal element in all races, we as black people, we are sick of violence. We're sick of not being able to go to the corner store, local grocery store, without fear. Because we know it happens in our communities all the time. You can't poll the average black person in the average inner city of America that does not know of somebody that's been shot and killed. Everybody knows. Until that becomes their issue, change won't come.
Do I want a bunch of white people to die for this to change?
Mr. Noise, you said, how do you talk to rational people, irrational people? I just told you.
But I'm saying, why does it have to come down to that?
Because he already told you they don't have compassion. We've never had compassion.
It's unfortunate, Lloyd, but what Cuz is saying is so true. They're not going to come to the table until the issue punches them in the mouth.
There you go.
Just like the Sandy Hook situation, when that happened, the parents not only got in an uproar, but then they sued, if I understand it correctly, they sued the very gun maker. Who does that? What if black people said, we're going to sue the gun maker of the guns that keeps getting flooded into our communities?
Look at all the mass shootings we've had, right? And then look how many of the shooters were underage white people, right? How often do you hear of the victims or anybody, the state, federal DAs going after the parents? Doesn't happen often, and occasionally it does.
Yeah,
I believe. But how quickly did the DA in Virginia say, you know what, ma'am, we're going to hold you responsible? The 6-year-old that shot the teacher.
Right.
They almost immediately said, oh, somebody's got to pay. We're going after you for allowing your 6-year-old access to your gun. That's where we stand. So it's not just a monetary issue, which it is, because we know that a lot of money gets thrown around to get decisions made on Capitol Hill.
Right.
So it's not just a monetary issue. Like I said earlier, you have those patriots that swear that this is a ploy to strip them of their Second Amendment. So you have that to deal with.
Yeah.
And then you just got downright racists who as long as it's not in, and racist in the sense of elitism, I guess that racist wouldn't be the proper word because Kenyatta, Lloyd, y'all know where I'm saying.
Yeah.
Portland is just as good as California.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And, poor white trash ain't much different than black folk.
Right.
So you have that aspect as well. As long as it's not in my
elite area
neighborhood, Glenmary, Valhalla, I'm okay. Anybody should be able to get a gun until it's your neighbor shooting through the side of your wall.
Hush your mouth. Hush your mouth. Hush your mouth. You just spoke the truth.
You saying so as long as it stay in the West and it don't make its way up Barstown Road and make its way on out to Prospect somewhere?
Listen, there is nothing but truth to what he just said. There's a certain amount of security and willful blindness that exists in the suburbs of America. I know it because, hell, I live it.
But try this on for size.
But hold on. But
go ahead, finish.
Even though I live it, no one could ever say that knows me that I vote based on where I live. Because I know what the issues are. I know how people are impacted that don't live where I live. But there's a lot of truth to it's not happening over here, it's them over there. They have to change their lifestyle. They have to, we're pushing it off on them until it hits your neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, I'm gonna shut up.
No, go ahead. You're doing good. You're on the roll.
This past week, 2 weeks ago, a big storm came through Dallas, Fort Worth. And I was sitting here in the house and lightning struck. And I could have sworn that lightning had hit my pool. It was just that loud and close it felt. I left the house, went to go do something, and as I'm pulling out of my alleyway, heading down the side street of my house, police, ambulance, and fire trucks filled the street with emergency vehicles because a house on the street that I live on was hit by lightning. Okay, that was about 2-3 weeks ago. Last week, I'm sitting in the house. Storm came through, lightning hit. I said, "Woo, that was a close one there. My God, that was a close one." My wife went outside to play around after the storm had passed because she likes to play in the freaking mud. She's a gardener. She likes to play in the dirt.
Okay.
And she says, something's on fire. So I run out there and stand, and the area around the house is full of smoke. And I'm not talking no look, somebody barbecuing and they burnt they brisket. I'm talking about it's full of smoke. So I jump in the truck and I go to ride around to see what's going on. And I get up to a street in the neighborhood and the entire street is full of ambulance and emergency vehicles and fire department. Because a house was hit by lightning and caught on fire.
Again.
2 times.
Wow.
Same neighborhood. Don't you know these folks? And I cleaned that up just for y'all.
I felt that.
You know me, Mama Noise. These folks are up in arms on how we got to fix this problem because it's happened twice in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
We need to all come together and everybody need to say that we're going to buy these lightning rods on top of our houses and we need to get a package deal so we can all get the best deal. We need to figure this out because it happened twice.
Do the lightning rods draw the lightning?
My point is, lightning happens all the time everywhere. But until it hits your neighborhood,
don't mean nothing to you.
You're totally oblivious to it and don't give a damn. The same thing with gun violence.
First of all, that was a fantastic story. Very, very, very good. Very, very classic cuz noise. I appreciate that.
First house is okay. They got a little damage to do. Second house is completely burnt up.
Completely.
They've had to move out. They're now looking for a year rental. They got to totally gut the inside of that house.
Wow. Al, you were gonna say something before I jump in. You were gonna say something. No, that was good, cuz. That was good.
Bro, I'm 52. That thought long gone.
Brother, amen. That's why I stopped you because I didn't want to lose mine.
Wow.
It'll come to me.
I first of all, that story was fantastic, and that connection was fantastic. I don't know if I disagree with it. I don't know if I in fact, I'm sure I don't, because I think you're right. My problem with being right, your rightness, is that you just said in the rightness that you are, those folk got to find a new house. They got to make substantial changes to their life, and the tragedy of it all is evident and real. I listen, I don't hate white people. I just want y'all to treat us like y'all get treated. I want to be treated with the same love and respect and all the stuff that y'all get treated with. And I don't want a bunch of y'all to have to die for me to get treated right or for you to care about my neighborhood. That doesn't make sense to me. Why does it have to be that way? Why does the lightning have to strike your neighborhood violently for all of us to get lightning rods? And it don't sound like all of us are getting lightning rods. It just sounds like y'all getting lightning rods. So whatever happens, so we still have the same problem, which brings me back to the point I had earlier. It seemed like y'all are getting solutions, but we still have a problem.
That's partially because for decades and decades and decades, we cried for equality, right? We want equality. But not once did we say we want equity. There's a difference.
Huge difference.
And so now that we have equality, they're satisfied. And you know what I mean by they are. They're satisfied. Right. So they're content. And what I was going to say earlier is when Cuz was talking about he doesn't vote according to his location. That's because you, sir, have compassion for people. You, sir, can care about collateral damage. And that's what makes you different from a lot of our politicians. So that's what I was going to say earlier that passed me. So until we recognize that we all have different circumstances, then we're going to be struggling trying to get out of the bottom of the well.
Because one thing about your story, because I never heard you say that somebody at the meeting said we need to have a lightning rod movement.
Oh yeah.
Everybody needs lightning rods in Dallas, Texas. We need to, especially the poor people. They probably can't even afford lightning rods.
No. Just our neighborhood.
Right, just our neighborhood.
Yeah.
Well, that's where it struck twice.
Right. This is on our Facebook page,
which takes us back to getting them people to the table. Right. Until they get punched in the mouth or until lightning strikes in their neighborhood.
Yeah, but they only want to get to the table and fix their neighborhood. That's not fixing the problem. That's just fixing their problem. When are we going to try to fix the problem?
They
The
come to
problem
the
is
table.
gun control. They're saying the problem is gun control in our neighborhoods. That's two different things. It's not the same thing. The problem is gun control, period. We are sick as black people of us shooting us. We're sick of that. We're sick of feeling like we're prisoners in our own neighborhood because of our own people. We don't even know how the damn guns got here in the first place. We're sick of that. But we don't want to address that part of the problem. We just want to address the mass shooting part of it. The one that affects, I was going to go golfing in my neighborhood this weekend, but there was a shooting at the grocery store in my neighborhood. So I can't go down Hurstbourne Lane today which is the route I would normally go to get to the movies or to get to my gas. That's not the same thing. That's still irrational thought. To not be able to see the macro of the problem is still irrational thought. And I don't know how, and I understand what you're saying, because it ain't a problem until it hits my neighborhood. But then, do you see the problem? Because to me, you just see your problem. You don't see the problem. I want to feel as safe as you feel.
But that's why I'm so irritated with local politicians and state representatives that believe that they want to tout their successes. So they will come to the microphone and say, violent crimes are down and gun violence is down and this is a phenomenon and a one-off, and we're not going to tolerate this in X city. We're not going to tolerate this. Is not our chief of police. We will not listen. You're full of shit. Everything you're saying is full of shit because it's a national issue. You cannot shut it down. Listen. These Wahites. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's what we call them.
They've been real hot on this abortion thing. And if you look at what they're doing, they're trying to say that it's states' rights.
Right.
So in Kentucky, we're going to do away with a woman's ability to get an abortion. So any woman in Kentucky that wants an abortion is going to try to do what?
Go to the state where she can get one.
Go to the next state where she can get one.
Right.
So in order to fix that, what did they do? They have damn near outlawed it.
Yeah.
Throughout the nation, because they too recognize you can't do it state by state. You have to have it banned nationally if you want to stop abortions. If you want to stop gun violence, you got to do it nationally.
You muted out.
I'm sorry. Here's what they've underhandedly done. A lot of states went in and they redistrict, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of states did that.
Yeah.
And so that benefited those urban area or rural candidates that weren't getting the urban population. So, example, just to tie it all in together, our governor, Andy Beshear, Governor Beshear, who happens to bank with
Old National Bank, yeah.
Old National Bank. And 3 of his friends, one of his mentors, were executive board members at the bank. 2 of them died yesterday and 1 was wounded. So you would think now we got what we need because our high state politician was affected by this. So here we go. We can now talk about gun reform. Well, here in the state of Kentucky, the state legislation is red. Not only are they red, they have a super majority. Look at Louisiana. It was more balanced. Well, they've had 3 Democratic state legislators convert to GOP within the last month, giving them a super majority.
Yeah.
Just yesterday, I believe, we had a state legislator in the state of North Carolina who's only been elected for now 5 months. How could you have changed your political position in just 5 months? She has switched now to GOP. So something's going on.
Well, I believe it was the prophets Wu-Tang that said cash rules everything around me.
That's what we need to follow the money.
We need to follow the money.
But there's so many states now that have a Republican legislator, and the governors are tied with their hands behind their back. It's unfortunate.
Can we have a true transparency moment here on this show? Let me tell y'all something. Y'all meaning our listening audience. Don't nobody switch parties because of a moral compass. Those two boys that got kicked out in Tennessee weren't kicked out because of a moral compass. Just follow the money. Whenever you get lost, whenever you feel confused about what's going on, just follow the money. I'm sure it will lead you to the truth.
Well, did the money send them back in there?
Absolutely. Because they're going to throw every dime at that young man so he'll never be able to legislate ever again. They're going to do everything they can to keep that boy out of office.
They took him out, they put him back in, and now you're saying they're going to do everything.
See, that's public pressure. That's different. See, we have weapons at our disposal that if we use them properly, like Cuz tells us all the time, if we use them properly, we can fight against some of this. We can, but we have to be united in our approach of how we want to attack and go forward. But we can't get organized long enough to get our heads out of our ass to be able to fight against the things we need to fight against. There's two ways to win a battle in America: money and influence. And when you ain't got no money, you got to turn up the influence.
So I'm just trying to ask for a friend. I ain't seen cousin Kamala in a long time.
That's not true, Mama Noah. She was in Tennessee.
I'm saying, and then all of a sudden she shows up in Tennessee.
She did.
I'm saying I don't disagree. I'm just simply saying.
Did she still look the same?
I didn't see her. I heard she was there.
She was there.
And I'm saying then all of a sudden it's like da 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 da.
And she did a good job. She got that boy's job back.
I mean,
I told y'all when we were last on air that the Metro no, it might not have been y'all. I'm sorry. That the Metro Council would vote him back on. So they knew that the majority that they hold locally, the councilman, would put him back in that position.
Hey, Ron. Yeah. I listen, we're in a weird place right now as a country because we've handed everybody a gun and we've basically told them good luck. Or we've been giving everybody an access to a gun and said good luck.
So if America cared, you would not be able to go out and buy a conversion apparatus that converts your 9mm handgun into a 110 bullet capacity semi-automatic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you can purchase items that are manufactured in other countries and legally shipped into this country for resale. So they don't care.
Until the lightning hits their house, like Cuz said. And I care when it hit my house. I'm listen. We need to have a meeting. We need to raise these homeowners fees. We need we need to get universal lightning rods. We need to fix this problem. Damn it, we need to fix it. But what about the ones down the street? They might need them too. Damn them. We need to fix it for us.
This is our subdivision.
I agree with follow the money. Money is a huge part of America. But you also cannot forget that history always repeats itself.
Yeah.
America is and always has been a racist country. Now that offends the hell out of good white people, if you would allow me to say it that way. But it's the truth. There have always been honorable, good white people on the side of right. We wouldn't be where we are without them. But there's also always been a white supremacist element in this country. Just because they don't wear hoods anymore, just because they don't speak it from their pulpits so blatantly, they still exist. So you have to understand that history is just repeating itself. They're doing everything they can within their power to stop sharing the power with the browning of America. And the way you do that is, in part, convince Negroes that their vote only matters on the presidential elections.
Yeah.
When the true power of this country is at the state level. So they're able to pass laws because of gerrymandering, because they are red states, because we don't vote. Now, if the overturning of the abortion after 50 years, and after the obvious love for guns and none caring for people, if those two issues don't make your behind want to vote for local elected officials, I don't know what will. Because unless we vote, they're going to continue their march. They're going to change all the schools. Schools will no longer be ran at the local level. It's going to be run at the state level. Yes, sir.
Who do I vote for? Go ahead, Al.
It doesn't make a difference. I just spoke of that 5 minutes ago. It doesn't make a difference who you vote for. Because at any given moment, depending on how many funds are slid into their account, determines how they're going to vote.
Well, let me say this about that part. The reason why some of those Democrats with funds being slid their way will make that move is because they don't go to the state capitals. They don't go to Washington, D.C. to not have power. Republicans have the power now in the state legislatures. So therefore, if they want to be a supermajority, then yeah, they will promise somebody something and give them something and whatever, pull a Clarence Thomas with the billionaire and hug up to him. Because now you're coming over to the Republican side and now you're going to have power. Most Democrats are extremely frustrated at the state level because they haven't had power in so long. So why in the hell am I here day after day, week after week, whatever it is, however often they meet, and we have no power? All we're up here doing is fighting against. We're not fighting for a damn thing. That's why they're willing to switch.
This is tough, man. Because I don't know. I don't know what to tell people. We've talked about this on this show before, and if you've been listening since day one, we do have some day ones out there. We've talked about this before. It's hard to win at 3-card money because everybody out there is playing against you. They're playing against you. The whole point of the whole way they win is to beat you. So the guy that's encouraged you to keep playing, he's really trying to take your money. They're going to split the pot at the end of the night. And that's what it feels like. It feels like on every side, I don't have anybody running for any of these offices that really has my best interest at heart. Or what the lifestyle, the way I'm trying to raise my family, I don't have that person there. And the guys that do rise up that might have my best interest in heart, the media and society tries to squash them down so quickly that they don't have, by the time they get their voices heard in any capacity, they're being damaged by the societal issues that are out there. It's unbelievable. We're really in a weird place right now, man. And it makes me ask that question, where are we going? Like, what is the end game to all of this? I want to come on here and encourage Louisville tonight that it's going to be okay, that it's going to get better. And I think it might.
For what?
Better in the sense of they're going to get through it. Not necessarily that laws are going to come into place that are going to fix anything, but that we'll survive this.
I bet you more people died in Detroit, Michigan yesterday than died in Louisville.
Oh, that is a bet that I am completely unwilling to take.
So we can't, guys, it's a national issue.
I got news for you, cuz. There are more people that died in the city of Louisville as a whole than died at that bank yesterday.
So we got to speak to. We've been, for the longest time, it was a Colorado issue. Y'all remember the Columbine, and then the guy went in the movie theater and shot up the movie theater.
Right.
We were wondering to ourselves, them folks out there in Colorado, what they drinking? They crazy. It's not that. That's not, you can't, that mindset is warped. This is a national issue. It can happen anywhere. And if you have kids in school, you have to wonder to yourself, Jesus, is some fool going to shoot up the school?
So do we?
And that's a sad situation.
You know how many guns have been confiscated in Jefferson County schools this year?
I do not.
18. Guns, not weapons, guns. Now, who's to say knives, whatever? 18 guns have been confiscated in Jefferson County schools this year.
And to that, I say thank God. But you're right. That's wild. That's wild. But that also gives me a measure of hope, I guess, which is weird to say, but it's the truth. Like the guns that got confiscated before the shooting clearly was going to be a shooting at North Carolina A&T. And they caught that guy before he was able to unleash what looked like it was going to be a reign of terror on that school.
That goes back to the cops have to be right every time, but the crooks have to be right only one time.
Right, like one time, right.
Speaking of, shout out to the officer who is still
fighting for his life. Yeah.
Fighting for his life. Upgraded, still critical, but upgraded somewhat. because I can assure you many, 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 many more lives would have been taken had they not arrived as quickly as they did,
Right.
engaged that shooter.
Right.
Because what you have to know about the Old National Bank, only the first floor is a bank. There are other businesses in that building on upper floors. And to, I forget who it was that asked about a security guard earlier in the show.
White noise, yeah.
The bank hadn't opened yet. So I'm
Right,
sure the
they
security
heard it.
guard hadn't arrived yet because bank,
Right.
they weren't open for business till 9 o'clock. This was the board meeting that takes place, prior to business hours. So,
And I'm sure he knew that. I'm 100% sure that he knew that.
well, of course he did. He was an employee,
Right.
and as an intern, he probably gathered papers, documents, and placed them around the conference table, knowing that on Monday mornings there's going to be an 8:30 board meeting.
Did you just say an intern?
He was an
He
intern
was
for
an
3
intern
years.
3 years before.
And then he was hired on full time here in the last couple of months.
Right, right.
But prior to that, he was an intern.
And he probably thought, well, now that I'm no longer an intern, things should get better.
Well, I don't know what he thought.
I don't know if he was disgruntled. I haven't heard a report
That's the
he was
first thing Lloyd
terminated.
said.
Well, I said it, but you know what, Mama Noise? The reality is we don't know. He's dead. We don't know what he thought. We don't know why he did it.
I don't know.
And we never will.
Well, if we saw that video that he posted online before he went in there,
he posted
I'm sure he said a whole lot of things about what he felt.
He posted part of the shooting on his Instagram.
So
he was live during the shooting. Yeah. So, and as quickly as social media, I'm not going to say any names, but as quickly as social media sends me a warning saying, "Hey, what you just said goes against our community."
I don't understand social media at all. This man went live shooting somebody, and if you make the wrong comment on Facebook, somebody's attaching or reporting you for something. Like, really? Like,
well,
I don't get that at all. But
clearly, it ain't as strong on Instagram as it is on Facebook.
They're owned by the same people.
But for some reason, Instagram it gets away with all kind of stuff in comparison.
What's the hope? What's the hope? Oh man, is there a hope? Let me ask. Maybe that's the better question. Is there a hope?
Absolutely, there's hope.
Okay, let's talk about what
absolutely there's hope.
What is the hope? I'd like to hear it.
Listen, we've been through darker days than this.
Have we?
Oh yeah.
I don't know, man. These are pretty dark.
Yeah.
You said earlier, Lloyd, that we would get through this.
I did, and I want to believe that.
I say we've already gotten through it.
Okay.
Although it just happened yesterday, we've already gotten through it. We're bracing for the next shocking moment.
Mm-hmm.
That's my
Can I ask a question? A very strange question. I know we run out of time, but I want to ask a very strange question. Is it that white people, and I'm gonna say it very deliberately bad. I'm gonna say it deliberately bad because I think it needs to be said this way in order for to understand. Is it that white people have to be? This has to hit their home, or is it the right white person that it hits their home?
The right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like these white people, nobody really knew who they were except for the governor of Kentucky.
No, they
you gotta understand what I'm saying. I'm saying
some of them were well known in the business community, but go ahead.
But in California that don't mean shit. That's what I'm saying. But if Blake Shelton, somebody runs up in The Voice, and Blake Shelton and Kelly Clarkson are now all of a sudden we got to do something. The whole Hollywood is up in arms. Like, what exactly is it going to take?
Oh yeah,
to shift this thing.
Then it'd be justice for Blake, justice for Kelly.
It has to drive fear. Listen, one thing white people aren't good at, and that's living in fear.
So who is the white George Floyd?
That's why their asses move all over this country, trying to get away from what scares them.
So who is the white George Floyd?
Wow.
I don't think there has to be a white George Floyd.
See, and that's where I think you're wrong. I think in order for this to change as a whole to a true movement of gun control, there must be a white George Floyd.
No. It has to keep driving fear in them.
You're not hearing what I'm saying.
Obviously, I am. I'm just stating something differently.
But you're wrong.
No.
Because no, listen to what I'm saying. The what George Floyd did is that you didn't just see a man, you didn't hear about a man dying. You saw it in real time.
Listen, Mr. Noise. Listen. You talking about an emotional reaction to something. That's not how they operate. We are an emotional people. They're not. They're very
You don't think them watching their own George Floyd die on TV is going to be?
Listen, when's the last time you've been to a white funeral?
A what?
A white funeral.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, it's been years.
I guarantee you, it's nothing like. And I don't mean the choir singing either.
No. I know what you're saying. There's a level of more emotion, and it's different.
They put their asses in the ground in 3 days, and they done with it. They move the hell on. They take their asses on to the insurance company, get that money, and they move the hell on. Now, I don't mean to sound so cold, but that's really what happens. We're the ones that sit there and mourn for 2 weeks before the funeral, and then another 2 weeks afterwards. I mean,
so are you saying
we drag it out because of our emotion? They are operating off of fear. If you drive the fear to the suburbs, it will change.
But okay, but that's okay. But you're kind of saying what I'm saying in a way. You just said it differently. I'm saying if a George Floyd like circumstance happens in a suburban area,
it does not have to take one person. For instance, you said earlier, if they're on their way to something and they have to change their route, it inconveniences them or something. Is that what you were saying? Well, listen. If they're on their way to play golf at the country club, and the country club just had a mass shooting, now you are affecting them right where they live.
But okay, let's take that same example. They have a mass shooting that's recorded. Because that's the key to the George Floyd. The George Floyd, it wasn't that a cop killed a black man. That happens all the time. It wasn't that a black man died unjustly. That happens all the time. What made it a story and created a national movement was that we saw it happen. So now let's take that same country club and we see it happen from start to finish. Is that what it's going to take to create change?
Well, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but that's not a George Floyd issue. That's still a mass killing. We're talking about a George. What you said a
connection of George Floyd.
They showed Blake Shelton being killed, or what?
Right. The connection is that is America waiting on a visual demonstration of how bad it is? like a true visual live
If,
film.
if I'm not mistaken, didn't Sandy Cook's security cameras catch?
Yeah, but I don't think we see it the same. I don't think that
They didn't,
in
they
our
didn't see
mind.
it catching, killing children.
Yeah,
Yes, they did.
Right.
Oh, I didn't.
Their camera, of course, because they didn't show it.
There were videos of it.
Here's their reasoning for not showing it because there were minors.
But
the footage from inside that building security system caught those shootings.
But that's not okay. But you guys are still missing my point because I need you to go into the George Floyd moment. The reason why it impacted us is because somebody caught it on a cell phone and showed the entire. And that matters because it's not controlled by a media narrative. It's not controlled by governmental interference. It's just raw information that we witness and go, oh my God.
That makes absolutely no difference because there was video footage from the students inside of Sandy Hook showing the person going from room to room shooting. That makes no difference.
And here's what I'm saying on what you're saying. I don't think America is confused about how violent guns are. So if you show the killings, I don't think that changes anything. What changed it with George Floyd was the fact that they believed, not us, they believed that what we were saying was happening with policing, they believed it wasn't happening. So when they finally saw a man kill a man on camera that was supposed to be a police officer to protect and serve, that's what drove the George Floyd issue. It wasn't that he was shot, because we know guns tear bodies apart. So I don't think that would move them. What would move them is the fear, Mr. Noise, the fear of their communities. Trust me.
But
if they can't go to Kroger's, if they can't go to King Supers, if they can't go to Captain D's, that's us. I'm sorry.
I can't go to Kroger's.
I'm sorry. If they can't go to where they normally go and feel safe, believe me, change has to come.
But again, I'm going down the same path you guys are going. If that is filmed in their communities, in a raw footage thing, and they say this didn't happen in the west end of Louisville, this didn't happen in South Dallas, this happened in Frisco, this happened in Prosper, would it provoke people to go, oh my God?
Well, first of all, the goriness of shooting would never be shown on the news like that. They're going to always blur it out.
We didn't think for George Floyd's knee thing would be shown on, but it was. And by the way, it doesn't have to be. If it's shown on social media, that's enough. If it starts to trend, that's actually enough. I don't know. I'm just surmising. I'm playing devil's advocate right now. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just wondering, what does it take to get people to sit down at the table and see we don't need gun control in your neighborhood. We need gun control.
And gun control, I don't know why it's such a political issue.
That's the money. I mean, that's what it is.
Right versus left. But gun control, I think we said it earlier, is not designed to take away your guns. We just got to figure out who has the guns and stop allowing. Well, this is the part where they say it infringes up on someone's right. Stop allowing any and everybody to have guns. It is absolutely asinine that we take an amendment that says you have the right to bear arms.
Not just an amendment, but an antiquated amendment.
We take that one statement and believe that anybody and everybody can own a gun. Now, you cannot in this country own, as a citizen, a hand grenade. You can't go buy a hand grenade. Why? Because that's a weapon of mass destruction. So we limit the things you can buy. When it says bear arms, arms is just not a gun. Arms is anything that protects my home. You can't go out there and buy claymores and mines and mine your front yard to stop the police from coming to your front. You can't do that. But listen, I'm trying to protect myself. No, you can't do that.
Right.
But we're totally okay with guns that carry 20 and 30 round clips designed to kill people.
Yeah.
You got 20 and 30 deer out in front of you and you can't hit one of them, you fucked up.
Right. That's all I was saying earlier. Like, I don't understand who you suck at hunting is what I'm trying to say. You suck. You're a terrible hunter. Get out the game. To be continued. To be continued.
Come on, we have to get off right now. Okay.
Well, you got something else? What you got, cuz?
No, I have nothing else. I just want to say, America, you're jacked up. You're jacked up.
No, you are. I mean, it is. It really is. We have to figure out where we're going as a country.
And you know, it's almost seen as unpatriotic to say that. That's a fool's game. You ought to be able to tell the truth about where we are as a nation. Right now, we're jacked up.
Yeah.
I'll leave you guys with this.
Yeah.
Yesterday, when the chief surgeon from the University of Louisville's Level 1 Trauma Center, which is one of the best in the region, I dare not say the world, or the United States, I'm sorry.
Right.
When he gave his press conference yesterday, he led with this, and I'm going to leave with this. We've currently treated 4-5 critical gunshot victims. This is not anything unusual for us today.
Show said it. I listened to him when he said it live.
That's where we are.
We're so good at it because we do it every damn day. Sad commentary.
This is nothing unusual for us.
Right.
Now, he did say the circumstances made it, and I'm sure the number of police running around the building because of their comrades, but he said this is nothing unusual for us.
Just Monday. What's the song? Just another manic Monday. Well, I don't know. But we hope we give you something to think about. Even if you don't agree, at least you're thinking about it maybe. I guess the happy conversations come tomorrow when we do the 5 tomorrow night. We'll talk some NBA playoffs. And then we'll talk leaving the ACC on Thursday.
What is that? What was that?
Oh, that was our old.
Oh, that's the young lady coming from Cal.
Yeah, that's our old point guard and our new point guard.
Gotcha.
And we got a lot to share about that, boy. That's a lot, along with some other things going on in the conference. Crazy times, man. It's just
you got to throw what's the name Withers in there.
Yeah, I saw that.
North Carolina.
Although, good riddance. I mean, I don't know why we worried about that, but all right, people. We love y'all, man. And Louisville, stay up.
Yeah.
Stay up.
Don't stop praying. Although you go, prayers up. You hear that all the time, and people are, it's common right now, or it's trending right now. I'm tired of praying. We need action, but please don't stop praying. Prayer works.
United States, keep your head up. We're gonna be all right.
Mama Noise, you got anything before we go?
Mama Noise, come on, you can add something to it.
Be encouraged.
Be encouraged.
Ooh, it's a hit right there. Mama, you know William Beckton? You don't know William Beckton, do you?
No matter what's going on,
I just want everybody to laugh a little bit before. Oh, Mama Noise. Oh boy.
you make it all right.
Well, Mama Noise mad at me. I can make
You
things.
gotta be strong.
Y'all be good. We love y'all. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace.